Munich! Yo, Munich! You ever feel like, I don't know, they wanna cure you, you're the cancer, you're the fucking problem, you're the pollution, you're the issue and they wanna solve it. They wanna cure you, you're the cancer, how's that make you feel? I should've stayed asleep, waking up can get you dead. Put your hands up!
I started rapping at age 12, or 11 or 12. I just started writing raps and just being a fan of music, and I started producing because I wanted to be a rapper.
Okay.
And so I just started trying to make my own beats, you know. But I started them really at the same time, really young. But I started rapping first.
Okay.
I just started rapping because I love rap music. That's all.
Yeah. But nowadays, would you consider yourself more producer than a rapper, because you have produced for other guys too, like Mr. Liv and not?
No.
You're as much as MC as you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just as much as I consider myself to be an MC and a producer at the same time. Same amount of level of whatever you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always changing what I do, you know, I'm always evolving, I'm always trying to do something different. I feel like I'm lucky to have both production and being a rapper, you know. It allows me to do different things at different times, you know, so, and I'm always trying to do something that I haven't done before, you know, which is why you'll hear different styles, you know, on my new shit and my old shit, and, you know, that's all it is, man. I'm just like, I'm a hip-hop musician, so I'm always trying to do, you know, a bunch of shit. Sometimes making an instrumental album is the thing that I want to do. Sometimes, you know, I make a full rap album. That's just how I am.
Okay.
Y'all having a good time tonight? Me too.
Around me, you know, in New York, on the trains, on the streets. I knew graffiti writers in high school. I was never good. I could never really do it. Yeah, you know, of course I tried, you know, but I always respected it and thought it was beautiful, and always, like, you know, always learned a lot about style and what it meant to have your own style, and what it meant to develop your, you know, the concept of your own style, you know, from dudes that were writing graffiti, and from, you know, and just being a fan of art in general, you know. But
off the bus bar, channeling of the structure, in the waist with a glow face, see the green way, you and me in a butane, super name any puffer, little dragons and flat rap, in the face of fuck. Music,
for sure, just like a lot of other things did, just like the city did, you know. But I grew up thinking that, you know, learning that the art form of whatever you choose to do within hip-hop culture is something that you should be trying to, like, master and contribute and come up with something new, you know. And that's the way I've always kept it in my heart. So.
Speaking of yourself as a hip-hop musician, is something different than a musician, I guess.
I don't think it's different than a musician, but I mean, that's the genre that I love. That's what, you know what I mean? That's where I come from. That's where, I mean, I might make a rap record, but it'll come from my experience and my love of hip hop music, and that's where I learned everything about music. That's where it all unfolded. Not everything. I mean, I listened to a lot of music when I was a kid, but I've always been involved as a musician. It's always been me trying to make hip hop, so.
I'm trying to make something smaller, talk to tell fuck off. I gotta win on the tackle, so hard as my brother off. I bring when I'm in a space, hit it up, down. Pull up on the surface of a triple back, up, down. One, two, 3, I'm close to the beat, right.
As a child, I played piano for you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, something like that. I played piano. I played saxophone. I played trumpet. But really, this is just like really young, you know. I never really was very good at any of it. I can, you know, but the most I can, but I think it gave me an ear. It gave me a musician's ear to, you know, and I know my way around a keyboard. I can play keyboards a bit, you know. But my problem with all that was that I could never make a beat with one instrument, you know. I could never make a beat with a piano, or so, you know, I pretty much wasn't interested in it. It kind of abandoned me. Now I'm more interested in it, you know, just because I've been involved in
with live bands. You're doing with live band now. I saw on the internet with Letterman show. You're playing a little bit on some MIDI controller stuff like that.
Well, yeah, there's some live element to my show.
You guys are great. Thank you so much. This is a lot of fun. Thank you for having us.
But it's over my music. You know? I'm playing my music, and then we're adding some stuff to it. You know, we're not taking away. I don't really like that too much. You know. I like to hear my music in a club. You know, I worked very hard on it, so you know. So yeah, but I do play keys, and I have a couple musicians with me who are adding some synths and some guitar and some stuff over it, but in a way that I think is more of the collage that you're talking about, and more of the just trying to make the sonics bigger for the live show. You know, give something a little bit more. Just something to experience in the live show, but I don't like to replace my music with musicians, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Can I kick it? 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 Can I kick it?
Can I kick it?
Listen, man, I'm not an you know, as long as I've been around, people have asked me this question.
Yeah.
I can't really give you an answer except that I'm just me. Like, I've always done my thing. I come from where I come from. I think that if you're full of shit, then you're full of shit. And if you're not, you're not. I never tried to be anything that I wasn't, you know. And I also am, you know, I'm a genuine article. I'm a real person. So I don't have these issues in my head, really. I don't walk around. I never really had that thought when I was a kid. I mean, if anything, when I was a kid, I was wanted to make sure that when I was involved in the music and in the culture, that wasn't necessarily coming from my skin, you know, my community that way, but it was in my neighborhood. And so it was like, I always made sure that if I did anything that I meant to contribute, you know. I didn't want to copy, I didn't want to just imitate or replicate something that I perceived as being hip hop. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to contribute something to it, and that's all I think that you can really ever worry about too much. I think that, you know, there are problems when people try and be something that they are not, you know. I don't really have those issues too much, you know, because I really don't do that. So, that being said, I'm just not an expert on it. Like, just because I'm, you know, obviously it's a totally relevant question. I understand why you're asking it, you know. But and when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of white rappers. You know, there weren't. It just wasn't really a thing, you know. So there, you know, there was like, you know, Third Base and Beastie Boys, and you know, you know, that was basically it. So there wasn't really much to model here, you know. It wasn't like that in my head. It was more like I just want to be a dope rapper. I want to be good at this. I want to be original. So I don't know. You know, there's no real answer to that. I never really felt anything other than like a desire to, you know, legitimately contribute to the thing. So.
And it made me wanna jump out the window. And it made me wanna scream. Take my face off, run through the streets. Pay the money on me, fuck by the creed. Came a long way from wrong in the line when I was not blind. I'm watching, I see. Race up first, investigate worse. And I wanted you to know since then I don't read. And even uniform tax on arm and ID. Rolling into the consensual D to the HQ. No beating, this is not me and I hate you. But making me make the man bleed. One man pass in his last ass me. This is why I'm writing you now as I bleed. Running to the bottom of his chest and still beats. Look dead and it's real in the sector.
I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that I just try and make good records, and you know, I'm not really worried about whether or not they're playing in the clubs. I can tell you they're probably playing in the car. You know, that I don't make music that's I haven't made much music that's very good for the happy club vibe, but I make music that bangs on a system and it'll make you want to move for sure. But you're right, the music that I make is challenging. A lot of times it's really aggressive, and a lot of times it's not something that you want to hear if you're going out to dance with girls. You know, that's just the way it is. I think there are plenty of people out there that make plenty of music for the club, and I'm just trying to make great rap records. I don't really have any aspirations about anything else, you know, and if something gets played, then that's great as far as I'm concerned, you know, that's wonderful. But I would be pretty surprised if I heard too much of my music in like a sort of a cool, you know, dancey, you know, night on the town party club, you know. I think it gets played in different types of spots, you know. But I just make the music, man, you know. I don't know. I'm happy if anyone even listens to it, so.
Yeah.
Take a fresh start on a new road. And I want you to go home.
Does it help you to be another person, or do you want to be that person? Or
no, it's a character, essentially. It's a part of me, you know, that I'm able to be happy and walk around and be cool and like laugh and be regular to some degree, because I have LP in my life, you know. That's how Genuine survives, you know, because I have these records that I get to like put all of my insanity into, and all of my anger and fear and paranoia and you know, confusion. I don't want to be that guy all the time, you know. That guy is a voice. And I hate talking about myself like this schizophrenically, but that's a part of me that I explore and you know, put out there when I make music, because it's just a voice in me that has to be heard for me, you know. It has to get out there. It's so that I'm not holding it inside all the time. And I think that I'd probably be a much worse person if that fucked up guy didn't exist on record, you know. But I'm not lying. I'm not creating a character. I'm just focusing in on aspects of the way that I think, and looking at things in a perspective that don't make much sense if you're just trying to walk to the store and hang out and talk to people, and you know, I don't think you'd really want to know me if I was that dude all the time, you know.
I was curious about what does the word bitch mean to you, because I recognize it very often on your record, you know. And some people in Germany, they take bitch as a word for women who fuck with a lot of guys. And that's the question.
I think that's pretty universal. But a bitch is just someone who's a fucking, who's just, you know, to me a bitch is just someone who's, you know, weak or just an asshole or, you know, I mean, it's not the female. I don't use it. I very rarely ever use that word in reference to a female. I was raised by women, you know. I would get beat up by my by my family if I did that too much, and nor do I think of women that way. So when I use it, it's just, you know, it's the same. It's just more of an insult than it is. You know, it has nothing to do with women when I use it.
Song to anybody in your life who may have passed away, who you think about every day to this very day. If you've got someone like that in your life, put your hands in the air like this. If not, that's great. Now don't just put your hands up. It's cool.
Okay, any last words?
No, thanks for taking the time.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. My name is LP. This is Shannon Moore, the Money Activator Crew. On my right, on guitars, little Shalimar. And to my left, on keyboards, the one and only Wilder Zombie. Help me out, y'all. Everybody say, go Wild